بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم نستعينه ونستغفره ونؤمن به عز وجل أما بعد يا عباد الله السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. Dear beloved Muslims, as always, we're honored to be before you. We'd like to share with you some information, very important information. We're on the internet now, and we signed into the Imam's website, and we'll put on the board. Those of you who have personal computers can send information to us. I'll put it on the board. That's you can send us some information. We signed in the guest book of the ministry of Imam Watersteen Muhammad, so we're happy about that. We'd like to thank our brother Rasul Muhammad. He's very, very instrumental in bringing that about, and we really appreciate that. You know, we just have to renew our enthusiasm. We can get in an impasse and not really realize the necessity of bringing about what we're supposed to bring about. We get complacent. We can get very complacent and satisfied, and we should never be satisfied. We should always be trying to improve on where we are. So those individuals who helped in making that and constantly giving input to put Masjid Wali Muhammad on the map. You know, this is number one. This is a very important. This is a very important spot. This is number one, the real number one. So that's very very good. As you know, we're on renovations. And every Saturday we will try to meet and try to have someone delegated to be the one who's supposed to look over the various projects and that we're trying to achieve. I think we need that. We need someone who would oversee and look that the various situations are carried out. You know, many of us, like myself, sometimes I'm called upon my job responsibilities where I make my livelihood to require my presence on some Saturdays periodically, depending upon the sort of test I'm involved in. However, if I'm not here, it shouldn't stop. You know, the strength of a group or organization is not based on any individual. And that's something that this larger society has learned from Al-Islam, actually. If the absence of one individual and everybody close up shop, that's not an effective organization. Yes. We should be able, any one of us can become up missing or absent or whatever, and it goes on. We should be able to look in the future and create things to perpetuate what we're about. So we shouldn't feel that as any one individual is so important that the whole operation shuts down because of one individual. And we should keep that in mind. So we also emphasize the importance for us to meet and share our different ideas and concepts and iron them out before we get in the throes of trying to carry out or trying to reach a particular goal. We should coordinate our activities. So all the people give the input, no problem. You know, just coordinate what we want to do and make it very clear. A community that's properly informed would always do the right thing. They would come in a situation just like this community. If we begin to disseminate information and keep the community informed, not only what our situation is, how our situation relates to the larger world, it will be no problem for this community doing what they're supposed to do with regard to responsibility. But we have to inform our community, immediately inform our community. So a community that you could have a mass of people, and if the people aren't developed, you have nothing but a drunken mob. Yep. So it's important that not only we develop ourselves, but we take advantage of all the information, we become into what's required of a Muslim. If you think that everything is supposed to come across the rostrum, I hear that often. You the imam, it's supposed to come across the rostrum. Look, if you're a Muslim and you read Quran, you're closer than yourself than anyone else. If Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, after you reading the Quran, cannot reach you, you think I can reach you? I cannot reach you. And it's not about what I say to you. So this religion is a participatory religion. We have individual, collective, group responsibilities. I'm not trying to say shirk my responsibilities. No, indeed. But I'm saying that oftentimes we confuse, we're not Christians, we're Muslims. And there's no priests, there's no intercessors, we have individual responsibilities. I can't lead you in the Sunnah rakats. You have to lead yourself. But we want to point out the thing that we can't have just an empty feeling. Some of us have an empty feeling for this Quran. You don't have to be a sheikh. You don't have to know everything there is about Arabic language. But if you're genuine and you're sincere, Allah will bless you with more and more understanding. You can grow into the Quran, but you cannot grow out of it. You can't grow out of the Quran. You can grow into it, but not out of it. So we have to start with some common sense considerations. Many of us were Christians before we became Muslim. You know, Revelation say what? This book has 7 seals. And they talk about the fire and smoke and babies being snatched out of wombs and all this kind of stuff. 7 seals, and they talk about it being locked up. Now, when we read Quran, it's an opening. We should make this connection. This is just a basic common sense connection. We leave a situation where it talks about a book closed up, seals, locked up. Then we open a book that says 7 often repeated verses. In fact, some of the scholars have stated that this is the essence of the religion. Just those 7 often repeated ayats, signs, instructing signs of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And it opens up. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. All the praises is due to God. All the praises is due to Allah. Now there are people that don't know that. Some people give praise to other than the Creator, the originator, the creator of life and death. They give praise to people that have been created. They give praise to spirits and forces of nature and ancestors, all kind of crazy stuff. But this book opens up and it says all the praise is due to God, Allah.
Yes, that's right.
And this is one of those things that open up your mind. But you have to have a connection to what's being said. You don't have to know Arabic to make that sort of connection. There are people that praise everything but God Almighty. So you see people out, you don't have to be a sheikh or this and that and the other to make that sort of connection, to have an appreciation for this book.
Yes, sir. That's right.
You're looking for some mystery and ethereal and all that. Oh, I heard all that before. You haven't made that connection. So the Quran is empty to you if you haven't made that sort of connection. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. The Rabb of all the worlds. If you just reflect and slow down and think about it, the financial world, the political world, the biological world, all the worlds. Allah is the Lord of all of them. That's something to reflect on. If the connection, the common sense connections, there's nothing locked up, it's open up for you. All praise, and then it repeats it. The beneficent benefactor, the beneficent redeemer. Who can redeem you? There are people right now screaming and hollering about some kind of redeemer other than the one who created everybody. These words are weighty. Their volumes have been written just on these 7th oft-repeating verses. Iyaka na'budu. Have we made a connection with that saying? We think we know it, recite it over and over again, don't mean anything to us. Iyaka, you alone. From Iyaya, you alone do we worship. You alone do we ask for guidance and help. Guide us on the straight path. We don't want to be guided this, we want to guide on the straight path. So these are appeals that we make when we say prayer. If your prayer is empty to you, you won't make these common sense connections. You finish your prayer, so it's just an empty ritual to you. You finish your prayer. That's it. No connection. After you make your prayer, you should pause and reflect on Allah. This is necessary common sense connections. But if you don't have a common sense connection, it won't be for you. Then after that, what does Allah say? Allah says, after that, Allah says, in the next chapter is the idea, it says, Alif Lam Mim, ذَلِكَ الْكِتَابُ لَا رَيْبَ فِيهِ هُدًى لِلْمُتَّقِينَ. The raiba, there's no raiba, there's no doubt in this book. Many rear up at their scholarship. They rear up at their inductive and deductive thought processes and their syllogistic reasoning. They take pride in their. Here's a book that's so challenging. It says no doubt in it. You want direction? You want direction in your life? Here it is. For the regardful, for the mutaki, from Waqiah. Regardful, those who regard. Now, if a person is a reasonable person, a person has respect for reason, they can identify with this Quran. The reason is very important. So we have to make these common sense connections. It's not about being an Arab. Some of us, look, I'll tell you, my reading of the Quran is very atrocious right now, but I'm learning my intentions. I'm learning how to read it better. I can't read yet, but my heart, I'm learning. I haven't given up. And I learned, I got a lot of spirit, and I realized the importance of reason. So with that attitude, I know maybe someday in the future, you'll say, hey, that brother Rashidin, he's really progressed in reading Quran. Because Allah repeats, and Allah blesses us for our efforts. But it's not that the minute I come in there, you know, some that come in, the minute they come in the religion, they want to sing, Alhamdulillah, even they start speaking broken English. Some kind of English that you can't tell what. I saw one brother, I see someone, I thought he was Chinese, I thought this was from, what in the hell going on here? Broken English. Mix up Arabic with broken English. And he's just like, say the prayers. We have to learn and appreciate, learn how to read first. So we have classes. I've made efforts, I'm not complaining. But we carry sequentially. ABCs, long and short vowels, declension, noun declension, verb, aspects, reading, etc., etc. Sequentially. And then you grow in other aspects. Get books on Abbas Nadwi, beautiful books. I've got books. I've been developing a library. I look up a word. I go further with it. This and that and the other. But one has to have an appreciation, and that appreciation, that desire, Allah has put in every human being. You have a choice. We have choices as human beings. When you take away a person's choice, you don't have religion. You have a choice. So what we want to, who are we and what do we want? As just a little brief subject we want to, and maybe perhaps in this we can speak on some other issues as well. Who are we? Number one, we are human, part of this cosmic reality with all other human beings who want peace. We want to live with other people. We're Muslims, and we're human, and we want peace. In fact, our very greeting with one another is peace. One of the attributes of Allah, the peace. Assalamu alaikum wa alaikum assalam. We greet each other in peace. But we don't want just a lot of sloganeering that have no meaning. You know, sometimes you get in a situation and the essence of what you're saying, you're losing it. You're losing the essence of the words you're using. You see a lot of sloganeering with no meaning. And we don't want to get into that. We want to be conscious of what we're saying, what that's really mean, what that really means. You know, we're in this inshallah mode, you know. If I say 1 + 1 = 2, I don't say 1 + 1 = 2, inshallah. That's a fact. I don't have to keep belaboring that. 1 + 1 = 2. You know, 1 + 1 = 2, inshallah. You know, we lose the basic common sense connection. We're Muslims. We're human beings. We promote peace. We invite peace. And we're a peaceful community. And our beloved leader, you know, some people say, oh, you don't need no leader. And you're looked upon real, you mean you have a leader? Imam Waruddin Muhammad has stated that in definition there is direction. In definition there is direction. And this Quran is the book that gives us the direction. It gives us the direction in our individual life, in our community life, in our educational life, in our financial life. In this Quran, this book is the book that confirms all other books. In fact, it provides the form and the framework for us to live by. This Quran does. That's how important it is. In fact, the Muslim is defined as one who submits to do God's will. And it's stated that in America it's about 6 million Muslims or better. And in the world it's about, they say, better than 5 billion human beings. 1 out of every 5 people is a Muslim. So we have all these people, and we take great pride in the numbers, but the substance isn't there. That don't mean anything. We got so many Muslims in Detroit. We got so many Muslims here. We got so many Muslims worldwide. But it's just a handful of people that's organized and have faith and trust and working together. They become a formidable influence. You got a handful of Yahudis in the world that have so much influence. I'm not complaining. I'm just stating the fact. They're in Mecca, the Yahudis' influence. What we have to understand is that the substance, we have to be about developing substance. And Allah says this in the Quran, قَدْ أَفْلَحَ مَنْ زَكَّاهَا وَقَدْ خَابَ مَنْ دَسَاهَا. Those who invest in yourself. You have to invest in you. You're closer to you than anybody else. And Allah is closer to you than your very jugular vein. So if you don't invest, come into the substance. A handful of people. Supply and demand is irrelevant today. We'll create the demand for you and keep you supplied with it. It's just a few of us, but we have our act together. It's a billions of you, but you have no substance. We'll create the demand that you want in life, and we'll keep you supplied with it. That's economics. So if I can control your appetite, what you want, how you gonna fight me? I'm giving you what you want. You like promiscuity? I give it to you. You like gambling? You like this? I give it to you. This is what Shaitan does. He say he promises. He promises too, but he failed in this promise. So we find that just being numbers, our numbers, it's the same thing here. Just your number. Okay, you've been here 50 years, 6 years. Okay, that's good. Yes. But what other dimensions are we going to go into? We have to stress the importance of substance and being responsible to various positions. No one can carry another one's burden. It's not just for even a person to, and some people put themselves up there because they see the situation. Well, I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll come to them like I'm Jesus, and they'll love me. And many of our people, that's the way we are. I'll die for you, only you. Oh, he loves me. Oh, and then we show support. No. What can you do for yourself? You weren't shortchanged in any way. Allah has blessed you with ni'mah, all kinds of ni'mah, all kinds of blessings. So we are attempting to improve the image of Muslims. And like we stated earlier, we're online now, all forms of media. We want to participate in this mosaic of American participation. All forms, look, you got media. Wherever you find something good, you're going to find Satan there. You're going to find Satan in media. You're going to find Satan in journalism. You're going to find Satan in food, economics, politics. You're going to find Satan there. Because everywhere something is good, you're going to find Satan's influence. Because he wants to influence the human being and take something that God gave you. It is Allah who breathed the breath of life in you. That's what Satan wants. He wants your soul. And Allah says, فَإِذَا سَوَيْتُهُ وَالنَّفَخْتُ فِيهِ مِنْ رُوحِي فَقَعُوا لَهُ سَاجِدِينَ. That Allah told the angels, this, when I have duly proportioned this man, submit to it. Illa Iblis. He didn't submit. He was haughty. He was a jinn, not an angel. He was among the angels, but he was a jinn. And the jinn have the power of choice. Angels can only do good in this religion. There's no such thing as a bad angel. I met a brother who was a Hajj one day, and that was a fundamental thing. We've given classes here, 5 or 2 here, but we've given classes on that right here. Very important point. The spirit have a Lord as well. The spirit is a creation of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. There are those that go and worship spirits. That's an important point. In Al-Islam, that's referring to the angel, Jibreel, basically. The spirit. But we don't worship spirits. We worship Allah. Allah has breathed in the spirit of the human being, and you can't show me anywhere where Allah's breath is evil breath, sinful breath. Now see, I know the effect of that. I know the effect. You know, I got a letter. Pardon my indulgence here. I got a letter. Just the little things we say around here, I realize and appreciate the effect of it. Because many others will hear what we're saying. I know that. Lady wrote me a letter, And I get letters from time to time about our program, As the Light Shineth from the East, which you know was named after a book by our beloved leader, Imam Warfdeen Muhammad, titled As the Light Shineth from the East. And it sold very well, one of the best sellers. In 1975, when the Imam became the leader, and we disbanded the name Nation of Islam. And there's many things we could say to that, but I thought maybe 3 years ago, I thought would be appropriate title for a program was As the Light Shineth from the East. And I asked some brothers to go in and be co-producers with me in that program. Brother, we arguing back and forth. I said, wait a minute, brother. I'll go myself with it. You go on your way. And 200 some odd programs later, I'm not even worried about this and that and the other. You understand? Doing this dawah. But I got a letter, and the sister was named Regina McNeely. She said, Masjid Wali Muhammad, 11529 Linwood, Detroit, Michigan, etc. Just a short note to tell you how much I enjoy your program, As the Light Shineth from the East. You speak of the Holy Quran very highly and give it with high regards. I also read the Quran on a regular basis and do my studies on the commentaries. We appreciate your program, etc., etc., etc. Please send me any literature on your community and the program. Now, I have met pioneers that have seen our program, and I say our program. And they say, I can't get to the masjid, but Brother Rashideen, I'm so glad that I can actually see what the believers doing, see your faces, hear something what you're doing down there at Masjid Wali Muhammad. Now, I know those right here. Now, I'm not complaining, but I'm trying to cite something to you. It's not me. I respect the position. Just so happened when I came in this position, I was blessed to come also with a little program where we can project what I say, and there are those that didn't like it. There are those that frowned up. This your thing. Get it back. I said, thank you. Go on. There are those that pull the plug out, all kind of little crazy stuff. I'm telling you, I've experienced that. I've experienced that. I have those very close to me. Let me know in no uncertain, that's your thing. But the position, you don't have to give a damn about me. Respect the position. Respect the position of yourself. You're not the imam. I'm the imam. Now, if I had to whoop your head and tell you how ignorant you are, some people love that. That's not my nature. But what we're trying to emphasize, the importance of coming into responsibility. We want to make things personal. It has nothing to do with any one of us on a personal basis. This is much broader than any one of us. Much broader. Only thing is to come in where you fit in, where you got expertise, alhamdulillah. It's good for you to plug into this community and move and grow with the community. I couldn't put a dollar value on what I've learned just by not refusing the position. No monetary reward in that sense. But what I'm saying, the rewards are so much. What you learn when you see. You see a side of people, human nature, and you say, I never thought that. But there's something that is something. And you'll see that when you come into responsibility. It's nothing but work, but this is good for us. Finish one task and pick up another one. But I just thought I'd read that letter and let you know that there are people, I could say a lot about our little program. I don't, because I know that there are those that have a different view. And they're entitled to that. Entitled to that. But what we do in the community, we should look at what our responsibilities are with regard to our community and improving the image of the Muslims. So we find there are many presentations, bad presentations of what Muslims are. But much of which we disseminate here, you don't see it on any other program thus far. I know that. You don't see it. But I don't need anybody to clap. This is work. Now, we have been conditioned to register our complaint out of race. A complaint out of race. First thing something happened, races. I was on a program, invited on a program, it has come out, and that's the one program that I really enjoyed because of the balance. They had a lot of different things. You'll see it. It's on another program called Affirmations. I don't know, it's coming on next week or the following week. This next week is going to be the talk we gave down at the Cobo Hall, the Eid talk. But I think the following week is this program I was telling you about. But we covered a lot of different situations, and I thought it was good because it was being posed a lot of different questions or whatever. But many of us register complaint out of race. Racism, we get on that racism, yes. But we can be in our own homes, and somebody can treat us bad. I ain't gonna talk to you. Get out of my face, you old so-and-so. We don't call it race. We can shoot each other. Somebody can drive by and shoot and kill 20 people and won't hear a peep out of anybody. We don't call it race, racism. We see a fundamental disrespect for our own best efforts, for our own progress, and we don't say anything. We're totally insensitive to a fundamental disrespect for ourselves, for our community, for the environment, for everything. Then they're going and then complain, what about racism? But we've grown totally insensitive to the blessings that Almighty God has given. And then there are those fighting to get inside of this country to take advantage of the opportunity. And we have so much, and we've become so cynical, so suspect. In other words, you're supposed to be cold and hard. That's the way you're supposed to carry yourself, because you carry yourself otherwise you'll be run over. You got to be cold and hard and insensitive. No. So this is what's being propagated. We complain about the white man. We complain about the Korean man. We complain about the Japanese man. We complain about everything. Why not complain about ourselves? What about not complain about the black man? What about not complain about the black woman? And bring our presentation, polish our presentation, and make it what it's supposed to be. Strengthen ourselves in the image that Almighty God wants us to shine and move forward. Why not complain about us? So there's been a concerted effort that's being exercised to misrepresent Islam. And I say, if you want to find out what Al-Islam is, go to the source. And what is the source? The source is the Quran. Go to the source. You don't have to hear it second. Go to the source. And the source is Al-Quran. You cannot get away from it. That's the source. Go to the source. So if I present Al-Islam, if I present racism, if I present culturalism, if I present nationalism, I am not presenting Islam as it is defined in this Quran. Some people want you to give you their culture. I don't need anybody else's culture. God created me. I look in the mirror every day. I don't need anybody to tell me how beautiful I am black. Some people don't think so. They knock me. But I think I'm beautiful. You should think you're beautiful. But I don't need another culture. Then some want to talk about nationalism. Allah owns all of this. Ummatul Islamiyya, you have nation. You have nation there. But you also have mother. So, America is my own. I see those that pick up all the kuffar this and the kuffar this and the kuffar this. And they pick up this talk from somebody else. The kuffar, who gonna feed you? Who gonna, this is home for me. The kuffar this and the kuffar this don't know what's going on. Prophet Muhammad dealt with people who had different persuasions in life. It's no problem. He dealt with the Christians. He dealt with the Jews. He dealt with the hypocrites, the munafiqun. He dealt with all these different issues. So some are coming from all these different things. Go to the source. I don't need another culture. Islam is not wrapping my head up and putting some long costume on and walking around like I just got off, like I'm going down the desert. That's not Islam. Islam is not what you wear. That's not the uswatul hasanah. So we are prone to a lot of these distortions and misrepresentations of the religion. Then there are those that just want you to fall down, bow down to them, and not come into your responsibility. We have to come into our responsibility.
That's right.
We have to come to our responsibility. So, one of the main things to understand that we are religious people. We are religious people of faith. Religious people of faith. Not sports figures. Not boxers. Not basketball players. We're religious people of faith. Now we know we have Muslims that are and participate in these endeavors. But that doesn't define you. That doesn't define us. This is what we have to understand. We are religious people of faith and principles. See, many people, when they say Muslim, they think of maybe a basketball player or a boxer or whatever. This is a religion for the world. We don't isolate al-Islam as being something just for us. This is something for the entire world. This is something for the Caucasian that you see, the European. He needs to hear this message. Many of them probably would be crowding in here, men and women alike, right down here. But because of pin-up things that happened in the past, many of them feel reluctant to do so. But they know the truth of this religion, many of them. That's one thing about truth. Truth is clear from error. You think many of these Caucasians, many of them are angry. Some of them, when they give up what they have been given, they go to atheism, agnosticism, a whole lot of other these strange things, and they haven't heard al-Islam. They're rushed to this religion. Because a lot of them trying to understand, well, hey, God is a Jew, and all the disciples are Jew. Now, it might hit them from a different angle as hitting you. Because many of us, we see anybody that's got pale skin, they're white folks. And other people, they're trying to figure this thing out too. But this message is for the whole humanity. It's not about racism, it's not about culturalism, it's not about nationalism. That's what we have to understand.
That's right.
We are religious people of faith. Baby comes here, the baby comes here believing. Baby comes here faith, trusting, amanat. That baby comes into the world, that baby comes here trusting, believing, trusting. We are a people of faith. In fact, if you don't believe it, just ask the baby. That baby is right from heaven. How's heaven doing? That's you talking to someone who just come from heaven. There are some that try to say, well, that little baby is a born sinner, inherited some evil, holding the little baby up. Now, people hear this. That little sinner. Ask some of these religious people. Oh, some of them got a clean-up message now. They got a clean-up message. You talk to them long enough. I've seen them. They got a clean-up message for the high up that's in the clouds. They got a clean-up message. But the average person get the poison. And the poison is that little baby was a born sinner. They have a little woman, have a little baby, she feeling all the heads and the toes in it, and look down there, you had that little sinner. That's crazy. Yeah. That's what makes Al-Islam so dynamic, because of the truth of it. Now we know that there are Muslims are just as crazy. We got crazy Muslims too. Crazy Muslims. Muslims go to war with each other. Look at that war that went over there. Here's Iraq and Iran. Look how many years it went. Look how many thousands of millions, I say millions of resources and gold and economics and diamonds. Look how it bought multi-billions of dollars. Muslims fighting each other. Allah says in the Quran, Huwa samakumul muslimin min qablu wa fi hada. I call you Muslims before and in this. Prophet Muhammad never heard of a Shiite. And he never heard of a Sunni. No, these things came later. It's the same thing. Jesus never heard of a Catholic or a Methodist or Protestant or Baptist. All that stuff come later. So we got to balance it out. So these things come later. Allah say now, is nothing precede Muslim, one who submits to do God's will. Nothing comes before that. So I don't worry about them bringing me to task about saying that. Prophet Muhammad never heard of a Shiite or Sunni. Now Sunnah, well, with the way Allah's Sunnah never changes. Okay? Allah's Sunnah doesn't change. Allah's way, truth doesn't change. Allah's truth doesn't change. Some people try to put clothes on it and mix it up with falsehood and this and that and the other. But Allah's Sunnah does not change. So we believe in the one God. We believe in Allah, the one God. He cannot be put in a container. He cannot be contained. You know, some of us put pictures. They say, well, they carry God's picture in their wallet. Now I can go through a whole lot of lists of human beings that's in folks' wallet. Farad, Jesus, this, that. I go right down the line. And they sit down on God's face every day. I'm going to tell you, they're foolish notions. Put God's picture. They carry that picture. We used to have it right out there and all that. This is Farad. Put it in the wallet. Sit down on God's face every day. Look, don't come on this stuff here. It was good in that day. The Quran is open up.
Yes, sir.
And Imam Wafdi Muhammad opened it up. We were encouraged not to even read the small print and this and that, and we'll teach you that, brother. You don't have to worry about that. We get to the Congo and the twinkling of an eye, something like that was said. Twinkling of an eye, don't worry about that. Brother, read a little too tough. What you trying to do? You trying to be the messenger. Hey, what's wrong with you? What you reading? So now, you obligated as Muslims to come into the knowledge of Islam, al-Islam, in Quran.
Yes, sir.
We as Muslims are obligated to not only follow all of the prophets of God, but the books that they brought. The Old Testament, the New Testament, we're obligated to follow these books. Books of the Jews, the books of the Christians, we're obligated to follow them. We have no problem. Because this Quran is a muhaymin. those things that don't make any sense or not truthful, they're kicked out. They're automatically kicked out. Because when the books were canonized and put together, there were many emendations, and there were many things kicked out, there were many things put in, and people go through. This is a lecture in and of itself. But basically, we are obligated as Muslims to accept. God's light is one. We accept all of the prophets of God, Jesus, Moses, Abraham, Noah, all of them. Now, we understand the differences, how they're presented in these other groups, but if we are brought to task, we can explain this. It's no problem. But what we're saying is, we don't make these distinctions between the messengers of God. We're obligated to follow not only the prophets of God, but also the books that they brought. We're the only non-Christian religion that makes it an article of faith, not only to accept the prophets of God, but the books that they brought. We believe that Jesus is the Messiah. And when we refer to Jesus, the Messiah in here, translated Christ from many of the translators from ascension, ascending nature, but it's Messiah. In fact, in the Quran, this word Messiah is only referred to Isa. It's not referred to anyone else but Isa, Jesus. In Bible, you have many, many people called Christ in Bible. So the scholars of Christendom, see, when you put it out there like that, they're gonna get into that. I don't have to wrangle about that one. The scholars of Christendom, then when you tell them, yeah, we heard this little color guard to say that there are many people in the Bible called Christ. Is this true? And then, yeah, he said that in Isaiah, the 45th chapter, the first verse of Isaiah, by God, he's telling the truth. What? And he's going to go after their leaders. That's the way that works. This religion is so challenging, it says there's no doubt in it. That's just fair. It says there's no doubt in this book. And when you go against it, you only show the world how crazy you are. And some of the people that go against it, they have so much education, there's so much credentials, so much. That's why they get real reticent in coming out in the open. Because every time you come out in the open, you're going to expose yourself. When you be truthful and you sincere in your heart, you don't worry about the people coming against you, as long as the world know who you are. That's why people like to go in the cut. They like to go around and real whisper and all that. But if you're truthful and you're true and you're sincere, you don't worry about anybody coming against you, as long as the world know who you are. You don't worry about somebody coming against you. It is Allah who gives life. We don't mix that up. It's Allah who gives the life. Nobody can give the life but Allah. I don't care. You get your demigods, you get your sheikhs, you get the... No one can breathe the life into the human being but Allah.
That's right.
It is Allah. We believe in the oneness of life, and we believe in the oneness of death. It is Allah who creates life and death as a test for us. So I can't say I believe in these principles and not behave differently, not behave appropriately. Because in our religion, belief and behavior, they go together. We don't let our faith and our behavior nullify one another. We don't be like, you find some people, they got a lot of works, do a lot of works, a lot of good works, but no faith. They have other things motivating them. You can't read their heart. Allah knows their heart. Allah knows. So they have a lot of different things. You look at them, good works, no faith at all. Allah, they're going to have to answer to Allah for that. There are those that have all kind of faith, no works. They won't get behind it. You find a person don't have very little knowledge or whatever, hear this religion, just hear it. And they're right there. Oh, they're just right there with what they have. But you find some got all kind of faith, won't do anything. Then you find those do so much and no faith. In this religion, your belief and your behavior, they work together. Now, if you can't handle it, leave it alone. Pray to Allah, oh Allah, give me strength to grow into these other dimensions. Oh, forgive me for my weakness. You can always go to Allah. This is the beauty of it. See, I'm glad of being Muslim because I know it is Allah is the judge. See, I know some people, they're so judgmental, they tell you right off, you going straight to hell. I gave a Jumu'ah one time, brother tell you going to hell. I remember that, brother. I never forget it. I don't make it an issue. But do you think I forgot? No. And you find those of other religions. So judgmental. You going straight to hell. Only my way. This is the door, the truth, and the life or something. Only my way. You going straight to hell. It is Allah who judges all of us. Allah will bring Jesus, Isa, Prophet Muhammad, Noah, Abraham. Allah will bring every human being to be judged in the Akhirah. So we don't be that presumptuous like we the judge. It is Allah who is the judge of human beings. You don't know what's going on in that person's life. You don't know why that person responding the way they are, but you can't judge them. You are not Allah. You can look and make certain observations in this and that and the other, but you cannot judge them. We find that it's Allah who establishes life, and He brings life along a continuum. You see the death, you see the dust, you see the water, the flesh, the clot, the bones, and you see that progression. Then you see the baby grow into life, and then you see another progressive stages of development. In the biological development, you see a progression. Now, even in growing into maturity, you also see a progression. Well, it's the same thing with the prophets. Allah has progressed the prophethood, and when He got the Prophet Muhammad, not to take away from any of the previous prophets, Allah says that this day have I perfected your way of life. Yes, and I've preferred, raditu, I have preferred submission to Allah as your way of life. Yes. See, there are those that submit to other things, and this and that and the other. They can do that. But Allah has said, in fact, this is the first time Allah names a religion. Submission. And the way you say submission to the creator and originator, Muslim. I say it like that because when you read the English and the context, and you could pick up the wrong nuances of what it's really saying. But Allah is saying, your way of life is to submit to me. I'm the creator. I've originated. You can't put a suit of clothes on me. You can't nail me to a piece of wood. I wasn't circumcised on the 8th day. I don't need a woman to cohabit with to bring anything about. I'm the creator. Kun fayakun. That's what we submit to. Yes. And that puts every human being in an equal situation where we get what we strive for. So if they're working with our minds and they're working with our striving, we know something has happened. Something has happened. So we want to We want to grow the will. And we find that just coming into the Shahada, we do that on our own free will. I've seen brothers, they want to marry a sister, whatever. Yeah, well, this is a requirement. I get her to say the Shahada, and she don't want to say it. She don't want to say it. She don't believe in that stuff. So he get her to say it. He marries her. Well, see, she hasn't taken the Shahadatain yet. And the same for the brother. Brother take, you force, even the kids, you force, no. They have to understand this here. If you don't understand it, explain it to them. You don't worship spirits, forces, people, answers. You only Allah. And then when they get to the point where they understand that and they want to come forward, alhamdulillah, on their own free will. You don't have to coach anybody. Yeah, go on, brother, go on, yeah. And you go through it, and don't believe, don't accept nothing. No. So we have to develop the will. The will. And if it's not for certain people, alhamdulillah. Some people like to tell you right there, hey, I like to go and I like to have a little champagne. I like to send my children down to the corner store, put their lotteries in. I like to, what Islam espouses just totally destroys me, what I represent. There's no force, no force. It is Allah who makes Muslims. So, you don't have to be forced to do anything. Our religion is a total encompassing religion, and everything we do is worship. Getting married is a form of worship. Getting married. The Prophet said, you single, you should get married by yourself. Get married. And it also say divorce. Divorce also is part of worship. Allah allows for that. Allah don't say, suffer, get in and suffer. And then you hollering and moaning and complaining. Oh, it's a billion people on the earth. Lord, can I just find somebody just to live with just for the remaining few years I got left on earth? Oh, Lord. Allah allows for divorce. It's hated, but Allah allows for that. Allah don't say just suffer. And Allah will bless you with someone that you will be pleased with. This is Allah. This is a beautiful religion.
Yes, sir.
But it's truthful. If you can't handle it, pray to Allah for strength. We all should do that. I'm constantly praying to Allah to work with me. And this is what we should all do. So it is Allah who allows you. If Allah can allow you to divorce, Allah can allow you to divorce from a bad political situation. Just think about it. If Allah can allow you to divorce, why wouldn't Allah allow you to divorce from a political situation that's not serving your interests? To divorce from an economic situation that's not serving your interests? A community situation that's not serving your interests. That's what we have to understand. Allah is the most merciful. And Allah does not put on a burden that's too great for anyone else to bear. We're obligated, dear Muslims, to pray 5 times a day. We can get involved in many things. But by us breaking up and stopping whatever we're doing to go to prayer, this keeps us in focus. There are many people who get so enthralled in what they're doing, they lose their perspective. Many people have lost their perspective because they haven't reflected on Allah. Allah has disciplined us to break. Now there are situations where we're under certain constraints and we pray to come out of those situations. You know, sometime at work, I makes a lot, I got my shoes on. I got my work shoes on. But that's the situation. I'll be in the middle of a test or whatever, time come for me to, I've worked it out. I began to work things out. I got my shoes on. I know Allah's merciful. My feet clean. I took a bath before I went to work.